Week 3 streamers. I'll kick things off because I have 2 of the 3 quarterbacks. I'm going to start with Derek Carr. Do you love Derek Carr this week? I don't really love Derek Carr this week.
I don't love him. No.
Because the game environment, he's in Green Bay. Don't love that. If they were in the Dome, I would probably feel better about Derek Carr this week. But they're in Green Bay. Green Bay has been okay defensively. They have the second best pressure rate in football to start the year. Part of that is because they played the aforementioned Bears in week 1, so they were able to get to the quarterback. Like I said, this is in Green Bay. Don't love that. But I do love the fact that the Saints have pushed the ball down the field to start the year. They're third in air yards per attempt so far this season. The Packers have allowed the third best completion rate on throws 15 plus yards down the field. And they faced, Desmond Ridder and Justin Fields to kick off the year. Really, the Saints just need to find the end zone more. They haven't converted. They only have 3 offensive touchdowns. Their team total is over 20, so that's good enough, but it's not like the best environment in the world. I don't know if they're going to I don't know if this is going to be that big of a shootout. I'm still I think Jordan Love is a sell in fantasy right now. A lot of his underlying metrics don't really favor him being a stud so far, these first 2 games compared to how he's performed in fantasy. And the Packers have 7 offensive touchdowns, and 6 of those touchdowns have come through the air. So that's going to regress, a little bit moving forward. And so I think that there's this idea that Love has been this unbelievable passer. His completion rate over expected is second worst in the league right now, according to Next Gen Stats. And so, there's a lot of underlying metrics where I'm like, I don't know yet. Okay, I'm not saying he's going to be good or bad. I just don't know yet if Jordan Love is going to be a shootout type quarterback or someone that we're going to be attracted to for our opposing quarterback to have a back and forth. And so all that combined makes me not overly bullish on Derek Carr this week, but he's fine.
I think Matt LaFleur is a really good play caller. I think that's what we're learning from Jordan Love. I have a piece on Roto World every Wednesday called The Regression Files, which I hope you check out. And Jordan Love is the cover guy of this week's column. So I am with you. All right. I have Matthew Stafford against Cincinnati on Monday night. I do think if Joe Burrow doesn't play here, probably hurt Stafford a little, but I don't want to get too bogged down with that. Rams have the 6th highest pass rate over expected through 2 weeks. They are running the most plays per game in the entire league through two games. I think they ran like 80 plus against the Niners this past week. And Cincinnati is allowing the 6th highest drop back success rate, folks. So they are gettable through the air. And I think the Rams will continue to air it out. So here's the thing, JJ, you could do worse than Stafford in week 3.
Especially, look, you're associating your streaming quarterback with the best wide receiver in the game too.
That's right.
Right.
Luka.
It can't hurt to have that association. By the way, going back to Jordan Love, I had a poll that I put on Twitter, and it was, who do you want rest of season, Jordan Love or Justin Fields? Who would you rather have, Jordan Love or Justin Fields?
I know we just talked. I would go Fields, actually.
Yeah, I would go Fields too. And Fields was only 42% in that poll. Jordan Love was 58%. So I think
Love's giving you nothing on the ground. Nothing.
Right. Yeah. There's just not that much upside from that perspective. So I'm with you. I would rather just go for it. If you're in a super flex league or something, maybe it's a little bit different, but I do think, at least in a single quarterback league, it's pretty clear cut for me. I'm going to go with the upside. The last quarterback in this group, CJ Stroud. Denny, I'm so mad that I didn't bring up CJ Stroud last week. I talked about him on my sleeper show.
I know. I heard.
I had him on the sleeper show and I didn't bring him up on this show. And that's my fault because he had a good game last week. He was, at least from a fantasy perspective, it was fine. I think the process was right there. He came through with a QB 11 performance. He's thrown the ball 44 and 47 times over the last 2 games, over his only 2 games. The Texans, they're just not scoring that much. They're not that good offensively, but they're at least airing it out. They're 6th in air yards. They're 12th in air yards per attempt. They're 3rd in plays per game. They're 2nd in neutral script pass rate. There's a lot to like about what the Texans are doing from like a fantasy perspective. Jacksonville's been pretty average at getting into the quarterback this year. They're 28th in pressure rate. So, CJ Stroud behind that really rough offensive line might have a little bit more time to throw, get the ball down the field. He was always like as a prospect, he was a really good intermediate ball thrower. And that's why Nico Collins is crushing right now, is because that's exactly where he's seeing those looks. And so I think that combination is going to help Stroud, is going to help Nico, is going to help him in this contest. I don't love the fact that they have the 2nd worst implied team total on the slate. But that's generally what you're going to see when there's a big
Yeah, sure.
underdog. It's not like that shocking.
Right.
I just think the fact that they're clearly not afraid to air it out when they're trailing and they get Jacksonville in a game where they're 9.5-point underdogs. They're probably going to be trailing. That's a good sign, I think, for Stroud to see 40 plus attempts again.
I'm with you. By the way, the folks in the chat are making some good points, and one of them is that I should bring back my puka shell necklace that I wore for years and years. You remember that?
Yeah, of course I do, and I think that you should, in honor of our Lord and Savior.
Yeah, but puka nakua, and here's the thing, though. I was mocked relentlessly and ferociously for wearing those, and I'm not sure I can take that. So we might not do it.